As you point out, the states have a lot of power here. Do you concede, therefore, that the Albanese government needs to deal within those constraints?
Well, the Albanese government will do what it does. I mean, it's in government now. I'm not going to provide gratuitous advice. It's all about the hard decisions of sitting around a table and working through solutions. Now, this is a big problem, but government is hard. We found this with a global pandemic. We sat around the table and we worked hard at solutions in an escalating international crisis that affected everybody's, fear for their own lives and their families. We didn't get everything right, and we acknowledge that, but we worked it through. So, best of luck to them in doing that. And the opposition's role is to hold them to account, to provide effective criticism, and to point out shortcomings where we see them.
Sure, there's not a gas crisis on the West Coast because they do quarantine at least 15% for domestic use. It is less on the East Coast. Do you think we need to do what the West is doing?
All of those options should be on the table for the government. 40% of Queensland's gas supply is domestic. The shortage, the absolute refusal by Daniel Andrews to do anything about onshore gas exploration in Victoria has, I believe, really contributed to the East Coast problem. Yeah. Again, I know I'm pointing the finger and I know people don't like that, but we have to know where we were and where we've come from to understand where we have to go.
Given the closer relationship between Dan Andrews and Anthony Albanese, perhaps Anthony Albanese can bend his arm a little bit and bring him over the line. Is that what you're getting at there?
So good relationships between states and the Commonwealth always work well and work for the benefit of people when they happen. But I think history tells us that often that isn't the case. Again, I come back to my point, sitting around the table, applying skills, bringing strong relationships to bear and working hard are vital in every aspect of state-Commonwealth relations.
If I could just ask you one final question, because the one thing that has been noticeable in the opposition really getting stuck into Labor is this off-budget spending of upgrading transmission lines. Isn't that exactly what we need for a government to look ahead, years ahead, perhaps even a decade ahead, to upgrading these lines, investing in that infrastructure so we don't have the situation that we've got now?
Of course we need to look at that. Of course we need to look at upgrading transmission lines, but you've just mentioned 10 years, a decade ahead. What we need to do is get the balance right between the transition to renewables and the offset of that against energy security right here, right now. So pointing to these things that need to happen and that we should all be working on are not an answer to the current crisis. And they effectively are, I think, the government saying, look over there, and pointing to something else that is not really where their focus should be right now.
OK, Sussan Ley, appreciate your time. We'll speak soon.
Thank you.